Hey, a new cat parent? I bet you are grappling with questions. Watch this series of videos about nutrition, grooming, health, behavior, safety, vaccination, covering the first 45 days of being a cat parent. Happy parenting!
What does a cat look for in a cat parent or in a home that it would feel comfortable in? Malaika.
So that's a very interesting question. Over the years, with the number of animals that I have connected and spoken to, primarily we've got to recognize that animals are very, very wise and evolved beings, and that they're born with their sense of life purpose, unlike us. We struggle to know what our life purpose is, but every animal is born with that knowledge. So when an animal chooses a particular human being, whether you've adopted an animal, whether you've adopted a cat or you've gone ahead and bought a particular breed of the cat, you've always have to acknowledge the fact that that particular animal has chosen the household that they're going to, because there are certain lessons associated or certain connections associated with that particular family which the animal is aware of or the cat is aware of. So cats will primarily tell you, in the consults that I've had, if it's a multiple cat household, and if I'm connecting with the kitten to find out if they're going to be okay going into that particular house, along with speaking to the existing cats of the house. It's a consensus of sorts, a conference of sorts, where maybe the kitten will say, this is not the home for me. I want to go into a home where I'm going to be the only cat, or I want to go into a home where there's a child. So it's very, very specific and it's very, very individual. It can't be tabled as a broad classification. It's very nuanced. It's very individualistic.
So how does one navigate this subjective, how do you know when it's right? How do you prepare if I'm going and, considering adopting a new cat? What is it that I need to do? How do I prepare myself emotionally for making myself conducive to getting that cat home and make them feel welcome?
Okay, so the moment you decide, okay, fine, I'm going to adopt a cat or a kitten, and you go to meet the animal, the first thing to do is to not approach the animal yourself. If the animal has chosen you, the animal will wander off towards you quickly and settle into your lap, or maybe, headbutt you or rub you and acknowledge the fact that, okay, you are the human for me. If the animal is shying away from your touch, or if you're not getting this sense of familiarity that maybe you've known this animal from a very long time and that this animal is meant specifically for you, if you do not get that feeling, then you must know that that animal is not meant for you. We have so many lost animal cases that happen where cats walk out of a certain household after they're adopted. It's because the human has gone ahead and adopted, but the cat really doesn't want to stay with that particular human for whatever XYZ reasons that the animal may have. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And is there any way to know if a multi-cat household or a multi-pet household is conducive when adopting a new cat? Is there any sign or preparation?
Yes, there is. You primarily have a conversation, just as how I'm having a conversation with all of you here. You have a conversation with all of your cats one by one. Listen, I'm thinking about introducing this new kitten or new cat into the household, and what do you feel about this? And obviously, if your cat is just sitting and looking at you and not moving away, the cat is kind of approving. But if the cat quickly walks off, then you know that your animals are not really approving of the kitten being at home. A short way of knowing this is when you get when you get a kitten over at home to foster for a bit, and if your animals take to the cat really, really quickly, then you know that they are accepting. But if they are not, then they'll just wander off, or they'll be quite a bit nasty or maybe aggressive towards the kitten or the new cat.
So Malaika, I wanted to ask you is that we have been discussing about scratching, we've been discussing about neutering, and we've been discussing about behavior like going out of the house, coming in. Some dogs want to stay back, and even in our community there was one lady who was being troubled by the neighbors for her cat going out, so she wanted the cat to be at home a little more. And while Amanda has explained it from a behavior perspective, I would like to understand what is the cat going through, especially from the perspective of neutering, because there are two versions to it. Some of them have told me that not like I don't agree to neutering, but the fact that where people start arguing about let them be in their natural state and why are we deciding for them if they should have it or not, like we are just trying to humanize them. These are the debates also there around the conversation. So I would like to understand, because you come with an expertise of being a behaviorist as well as somebody who's communicated with cats, I do wish to understand their perspective.
Okay, so cats can simply want to go out of their homes because, they want to. It's something that they want to do to spend their time, to explore the environment. Yes, as Amanda said, you could enrich their environments indoor, whereas excessive scratching is concerned where a cat will specifically target a certain section in the house or a couch in the house. Change of fabric, yes, helps, but as a communicator, I would go ahead and ask the animal what is causing them to indulge in that behavior so excessively, and what is it that I can do to help them change that behavior. Very often, sometimes, excessive unwanted behaviors are linked with their human in question. Sometimes the cat will indulge in certain behaviors simply because they want to call out their human on some aspect of their behavior that they would like their human to change, because it's going to have mental, physical, or emotional repercussions on their human's well-being, and that is something which they want changed. Another angle to it is, yes, I've communicated with cats that go outdoors and meet with maybe neighbors that aren't that kind enough, and me and the human have actually sat down, negotiated, discussed it along with the animal, and we've come at a third party solution which benefits the cat as well as the human, where the cat will give certain directives. Okay, fine, I agree to go out at such and such time when you are accompanying me, and I'm okay with maybe being on a harness or being on a leash or being open, but only in a certain area or in a certain space. So you can negotiate, you can talk to your animals and reach a space of understanding which benefits both the human and the animal.
Love this. I love the part where you're saying we can sit and negotiate. Like, I wish I was doing
Yeah,
that.
I've negotiated with a cat who refused to be neutered for nearly 5 years of his lifetime, until we said that, we can't really let you be intact because your human is moving away and you're going to be in an apartment. You're not going to be an indoor and outdoor cat. So you have two choices. Either you continue to live in your existing surroundings, but you're on your own, or you continue to move along with your human, but you're neutered and you're going to be completely an indoor cat. So you've got to offer your animal choices and let the animal decide which choice they would like to go in for.
Right, but you think it's not something that is primarily. So I feel that what you're trying to say is that you prepare your pets for whatever decision you're making.
Yes.
Consent, we'll come back to that. It's important. You're not just forcing it on them, and I like the word negotiating. I wish I was on the upper hand, but I think the pets are on the upper hand here. But yeah, I think I understand where that's coming from. So you feel it's just anything, whether good or bad, it's all about conversation that you make with a pet.
Yes, it's all about negotiating. It also depends on the kind of connect you have along with the animal. So I'll give you an example. I was fostering this cat that I picked up from the road, must have been about 14 years old, with a terrible growth in the ear, and I knew that it was cancerous, and eventually the cat is just going to pass by and I can just keep the cat as comfortable as possible. And I was also really busy those days, so I would leave very early in the morning and come back pretty late in the night, and my folks would tell me that, you know what, Malaika, the cat just comes out when it needs to be fed, otherwise it's under the bed. The cat would come out only when I would come out and climb onto me, sink his claws into my chest and paw away, because the animal just knew, okay, this is the human who's responsible for getting me at home and for looking after my needs. So it's very interesting. You've got to make that conversation along with the animal. And I offered the animal a choice. I said, listen, I'm sorry that I'm not there all day at home, but this is the best that I can do, considering we kept you in a veterinarian's clinic and you would be alone for all throughout the night and during weekends. So this is what the cat chose. The cat chose to be with me, despite the fact that I'm not going to be there all day, but the needs are going to be looked after.